Hi, my name is Terry and I'm one of the exercise specialists here with the Edmonton West Primary Care Network. Today we're here at the Terwillegar Rec Center. We're just going to walk you through some of the things we do for our supervised exercise program. So this video is going to be intended for you to kind of know what to expect when you come into the exercise program. Also just to affirm some learning you've had along the way and give you a reminder of the exercises that we did. So we're going to go through some cardio equipment. We're going to go through the treadmill, the bike, and the rowing machine. And then we're going to go through some of the weight machines here, and we're going to show you how to do a full exercise program using the machines. We're also going to have a video part number 2, which is going to show you some more advanced exercises that we would normally teach in the second half of the program, such as free weights, cables, and some additional leg exercises. Do keep in mind though that the exercises I'm going to show you today are just a base example, and the things that you may actually do in the program could be a little different depending on your goals and your limitations. So the first thing we're going to start with is the treadmill. So first we're going to start with the treadmill. So for the treadmill, the first thing you're going to do is just press the go button. There are a bunch of different workouts such as interval training and courses. We're going to keep it simple today. Green means go. We're going to press the go button. When you press the go button, it's going to count down 3, 2, 1, and then the belt's going to start moving. So you want to keep your hands on the handles, and it's going to start very nice and slow at 0.5 miles per hour. So this is a pretty slow walking speed, so you're going to want to increase it a little bit. So you can press the up arrow on here, or on the screen there's also digital up arrows here. So you're just going to increase it to a more comfortable walking pace. So with any cardio equipment, you want to first start for the first few minutes starting slow and letting your body warm up. Once you're nice and warm after a couple minutes, you can increase the intensity. You can either do that through speed, or as you get a little bit more comfortable, you may reach a speed that's no longer difficult, and at that point you could add in some incline. The incline is just going to be on the left-hand side. Once you're done your workout, you can either decrease the intensity by pressing the down button, or there is a blue arrow on the screen. When you press that, it automatically starts a cool down. So what it's going to do is half your speed, and then depending how long you're on the treadmill for, it is going to give you 1, 3, or 5 minute cool down. So one thing I didn't mention is sometimes it's a little bit awkward to walk on a treadmill for the first time. So people sometimes don't know what to do and they start inching backwards. So the one thing I really want to encourage, just bring your hips underneath your shoulders and stand nice and tall. Sometimes people also take little tiny steps because they're just not sure where to put their feet, but just take longer, more confident steps. Once you start to get going, you'll find your rhythm. It just, the first time you're on a treadmill, it can be a little bit awkward. So that is the treadmill. So this is the recumbent bike. Recumbent means in a seated position. This bike here has a bit of a chair with a backrest that you're sitting in. So for the recumbent bike, the first thing we want to do is adjust the seat. So there's a little lever underneath the seat here. It's a red lever, and it allows the seat to go forward and back. If we're too close, our knees are kind of going to be shoved in our chest, and if we're too far away, it may feel like we are reaching for the pedal with every single pedal. So what I tell people is maybe start in this too far out position and then move just a smidge closer. Basically, I want my knees about 90% extended. So for me, this feels pretty comfortable. I have a slight bend at the end of each pedal. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the quick start workout. We'll keep it simple. So on this bike here, it's a little bit more complicated. It says go to workouts. And then we're just going to press quick start. So the bike here to start up. Again, there's interval programs and courses, but we're going to keep it simple today and just quick start. So bike starts up, I can start pedaling. There's 2 ways that I can change the level. One way is on the screen it says level, and I can press the up or down arrows. The other way is on the right side here, there's 2 little buttons. One is a plus arrow and one is a minus arrow. And those will allow me to change the intensity up and down. So some people don't notice this and accidentally press it during their workout. So if the level starts changing, you know what it is. So first we're going to start with the warm-up, like with every piece of cardio equipment, and we're going to finish with the cool down. So at the end of your workout, again, there is a little blue down arrow, so you can press that. Or you can just manually press the down level on here. So this is the upright bike. It's quite similar to the recumbent bike, but first I'm just going to show you a couple ways that you can get onto it. The first way that I usually use is I just put one of my feet into the pedals, hold on to these, they're nice and stable, and then slide my legs over, and then I'm onto the seat. Another way that may be easier for people who have any mobility impairments or a little more stiff, you can just lower the seat, walk over, put up the seat, and then you can get onto the bike. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to adjust the seat height. So just like on the recumbent bike, there's a red handle under the seat. If you start too low, you're not going to have a lot of power. Your knees are going to go up into your chest. And then if you have the seat too high, you're going to be reaching for the pedals each time. So I like to start people maybe a little too high and then just go down just a smidge from there. And you want to be about 90% extended at your legs when you pedal downwards. So for me, still might be a little high. There you go, that feels pretty good for me. And so then we're going to start up the bike. So on here, there are courses and different workouts. We're going to keep it simple today. Green means go. We're going to press the go button. Once we start it, again with any cardio equipment, we want to start with a couple minutes of a warm-up and end with the cool down. So for the warm-up, we're just going to go easy for a couple minutes. And then when we're ready to increase it, there's an up button here, or on the screen, you can press the up button to change the level. When you're done, you can either manually decrease the level to cool down for a couple minutes, or there's an arrow that says cool down. So that was the upright bike. Just give it a wipe down when you're finished and move on to the next exercise. Okay, so this is the rowing machine. The first thing we do for the rowing machine is adjust the level. It's on the side. So it goes from 0 to 10. I'd say start somewhere between 5 and 10 or it's going to be quite easy. So we're going to start by setting the resistance. And then you're going to come over here and sit down. So this moves, just be careful when sitting down that it's nice and stable. And then you're going to adjust these feet straps here so you can actually fit your feet in. Then we're going to start by grabbing the handles. I'll tell you why in just a minute. This is why it's the first step. Then you're going to take your feet and slide them in. Right now, this is actually at a great level for me, but generally I find that about 3 is good for most people. This is just adjusted as per foot size. So if you are Michael Jordan and have huge feet, you probably want to be at the 1 mark. But if you have little tiny feet, you're going to be closer to the 6. So today I'm just going to set it at the 3 mark here. Then I'm going to slide my feet in and tighten the straps. So the reason we grab the handle first is because it takes quite a bit of flexibility to reach it from down here. So if you forget, you might have to unstrap a foot to grab it. So then we're going to start by, usually I like to put my hands on the outside. It makes it easier to use your back muscles, which is one of the main muscles you're using during this exercise. Then you're going to push with your legs, and then after pull with your arms. I'm going to push with my legs, pull with my arms. Bring this here towards like your stomach or mid to right below your chest. Then you're going to come forward again. Push with your legs, pull with your arms. Push with your legs, pull with your arms. And you're trying to keep this chain relatively straight. I don't want to see you doing a lot of work and working over your legs with every motion. It's not very efficient. So again, push with your legs, pull with your arms. Thinking about squeezing your shoulder blades together at the back. So again with this, you want to start with the warm-up and with the cool down. The rowing machine is actually quite difficult. I mean, the difficulty doesn't necessarily come from the level on the side. It more so comes from how fast you're rowing. So on here, I like to use the setting that tells me my time per 500 meters. So if you're going faster, it's going to take you less time to complete 500 meters. And if you're going slower, it's going to take you more time to complete 500 meters. So if you want to make it more challenging, you can either up the resistance on the side or just row a little bit faster. In the first couple of minutes, people tend to think it's quite easy, but just make sure to pace yourself because it is one of those exercises that sneaks up on you. So if you can do 5 to 10 minutes to start, I'd say you're doing pretty good. And then at the end, again, you want to you can either take your feet out first by pulling the strap, loosening, or you can put that in first. So that was the rowing machine. So this is the pull-down exercise. This is a back exercise. For this one, the first thing you need to do is just adjust your seat so that you can slide your legs under here. So the seat adjusts up and down. Only purpose is just so you can slide your legs under. When you're down here, it's quite hard to reach the handles, so I usually adjust the seat. Then I grab onto the handles evenly and sit down. There's a chest pad here in the front that you're gonna lean against a little bit, and then you're gonna keep your body nice and straight. You're just gonna pull the handles down, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and back up. Pull down, squeeze those shoulder blades together. One common thing that people do is just don't go down far enough, so they're not really activating their back muscles as much. So again, you wanna go all the way down and squeeze your shoulder blades together at the bottom. And then when you get up again, standing up a little and letting go of the handles. So this is the pull down exercise. So this machine here is called the vertical traction. It's the same exercise as the pull down, just a slightly different format. So you can do whichever one feels better or whichever one is free. You don't have to do them both. For this one, you're just facing in the opposite direction. You can adjust the seat up and down, but the best way to grab the handles would just be to push this and it brings the handles down. You're gonna grab onto the handles and then you're gonna pull your arms down, bringing your arms down towards your ribs. So this is a back exercise. We're more specifically using our lats, and our lats job is to pull our arms down towards our ribs. So we're just gonna squeeze our back muscles as we go down. So this is the lat pull down or vertical traction. Okay, so this one here is called the shoulder press. For this one, I guess the most important adjustment would just be to make sure that you're underneath here. If you're up too high, it's very hard to get your arms underneath. So we just want to adjust the seat so you're a little bit lower than these handles. There are two different handles here, and you can really use either or just depending on your shoulder mobility and what you find most comfortable. So most people prefer this handle here. First thing you're going to do is just adjust your weight. Again, there's these add-on in and out 5-pound weight. You're going to hold the handles, relax your head into the headrest, and just press up, overhead, and come back down. Again, we don't want to crash the weights with every rep, so we want to just be pushing up and then hovering or lightly touching on the way down. These handles here are very similar. Your arms are going to be a little bit farther back, and again, you're just going to press up overhead, so you can choose whichever is most comfortable for you. So this is the shoulder press. So next up is the sit to stand exercise. This is a leg exercise. So here at the Terwillegar Rec Center, they have these boxes that are easily adjustable. So the higher the box, the easier it's going to be to start from, and the lower it's going to be a little harder, but this can also be done on a chair. So we're going to start in the seated position. We want our feet maybe hip width apart or slightly wider than hip width apart. We don't want our legs out super far, and we also don't want them in really narrow. So this could be the most stable position. So for this exercise, we want to use our bum muscles through the whole movement. So what we're going to do is I like to put my hands out to counterbalance my weight. Then I'm going to squeeze my bum and stand up. I want my body weight to be distributed through my whole foot. So I'm going to squeeze and stand, squeeze and stand. The one thing I do really want to avoid is letting your knees collapse inwards. And so it would look like that, collapsing inwards. We don't want them to collapse inwards, we want to keep them straight. And then we also don't want our knees to go too far forward. So we just want to sit with our bum back and not our knees forward. So bum back. So to make this exercise easier, you would just start from a higher platform. But to make it harder, what you would do is just stagger your stance. So if I have my left foot back, about 80% of the work is going to be in my left leg. Again, I'm going to put my hands out, squeeze my left butt cheek and stand, squeeze and stand. And then for that, I would also just switch legs. So that's the sit to stand. So this is the low row machine. This is another back exercise. So there's a couple adjustments. One is we can move the seat up and down. We want to adjust the seat up and down so our chest, it's kind of in the middle of our chest is along this chest pad here. And then we're going to adjust the handles so we can kind of hardly reach them. We want to kind of be reaching for the handles so that the weights don't smash together at each one. So how you would adjust this is pull this down. It unlocks this pad and lets it move freely. So this is pretty good for me. I'm reaching for the handles. So I like to grab the handles closer to the top, and then I want to grab those handles, pull back, and squeeze my shoulder blades together at the back of this motion. Come forward, squeeze my shoulder blades. Also, I don't want to let my shoulders come up really high. I want them to be relaxed and down. Squeeze my shoulder blades together at the back. So this exercise is actually quite easy to cheat. So we want to be making sure that we go far enough back and squeeze our shoulder blades at the back. So what I'm looking for is vertical lines along the back of your shirt. So when I do this motion and squeeze my shoulder blades at the back, you should see some vertical lines in my shirt and then coming forward. So we want the motion to be slow and controlled, about 2 seconds forward and 2 seconds back. So this is the low row. So this is the chest press machine. For this machine, there's a couple different adjustments. The first one is seat height. So we want the handles, for this one there's 2 sets of handles. I usually just use the bottom handles. We want the handles to be kind of in line with your armpit. So for me this is pretty good, but how to adjust it would be to push this in and move the seat up or down. Okay, so in line with my armpits. Next we're going to choose our weight. For all of these machines, there's a sneaky little 5-pound add-on. So there's this little yellow handle here, and when it's in, it adds 5 pounds. Basically, it just latches onto a 5-pound weight, and when it's out, it's not adding any extra weight, and you just take the weight for face value. So how to remember that is out is without. So on this one here, I'm just going to set the weight, and I'm going to grab the handles. If you find it really uncomfortable to get in, these handles are pretty far back. So then we can adjust the handles. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this down. It can go really far back, which would be really hard to get your shoulders in, or all the way forward. Okay, and then we're going to grab these handles here. So now I'm just going to rest my head against the headrest here and push forward and together. Pushing forward and together. So you do want to fully extend your arms. But you don't want to let the weights clank down every time. So I like to let them hover or gently touch. You don't want them to do this. That's a little loud and annoying for everyone. So this is one of the versions for the chest press, and there's also another one called the incline press that we kind of use interchangeably depending on what is available. So this machine here is called the chest incline. It's an incline chest press exercise. So for this exercise, again, we want to adjust the seat up and down. So we can do that by grabbing this yellow handle and it goes down or up quite freely. So we want to adjust this, and so the handles are kind of in line with our shoulders. And then we're going to set our weight. Again, there's this little sneaky 5-pound add-on. In is on, out is without. And then we're going to grab the handles. So on this one, there's 2 types of handles. I like these ones. To get behind it, if you press this with your foot, it kind of lift up and let you allow you to get in a little bit easier. Then you're going to let go with your foot, put your head against the headrest. Just going to push up and out, extending your elbows. So if you find this uncomfortable at all in your shoulders, what you can do is use the other handles, these handles here, and do the exact same motion. So that was the incline chest press. Again, on the machine it says chest incline. So the next exercise is another leg exercise called the step up. So for this exercise, it's going to be similar to going up and down stairs. So if you don't have a step up, if you're not at the gym, you can use the bottom step of a stair to do this. So for this, I usually do it next to something so I have something for balance. So I don't want to use the railing to pull myself up, I just want to use it for balance. So I'm going to stick one leg up onto the step, and I'm going to pretend this foot is glued on for the duration of the exercise. I'm going to use my bum muscle, I'm going to squeeze it through the whole exercise. I'm going to start by squeezing that, up, and then back down. Up, and down. Up. So I'm going to do this as many times as I can on one side. And then I'm going to switch legs. What I don't want to see is you just kind of going up and down like this is a step aerobics class. I want this to be a very focused movement with the side that you're trying to use. Squeeze that glute and lift up. Another thing I want to avoid is I want to avoid seeing your knees collapse inward. So when you go up, your knee should be perfectly in line with your toe during the whole exercise. I don't want to see any of this or really far forward with your knee. So again, right in line with your toe, squeeze up and down. To make this exercise harder, what we would do is go to a higher step. So these are great, they have little risers. So each one of these adds about 2 inches. So what we would do is stack the risers, take the step, place it on top. Perfect, making sure it's nice and stable. So to make this exercise harder, you would then do it on the higher platform, up and down. So this is the step up.